Hey, what's going on, everyone? Back with some knife content. Today, I am very excited to be doing a brief overview of the Sharp by Design Mini Evo. And before I get started with this overview, huge shout out to Brian Nadeau from Sharp by Design. How I came across these, I follow Brian Nadeau, Sharp by Design, on Instagram, and he had made a post that, hey, if there's any knife reviewers out there, like, drop me a line. I'll send you a couple of these Evos to review prior to them actually being released and sent out to authorized dealers. And no preconceived notions. No, this is about the knife, whatever. Like, I mean, really, just I have free reign to review this thing. How I see fit, and so huge shout out to him for letting me do that. Were great knives, and yeah, I really loved the nod of him letting me do that. My history with Sharp by Design. So the only other Sharp by Design knives that I've ever tried have been the Mini Tempest, and that is just due to the fact that I haven't been able to score any other one. So this Mini Evo, or both of these here, he sent me two of them. This is going to be my second crack at a Sharp by Design, and I'm really excited to give my thoughts on this knife and see if it's right for you. Thanks for tuning in. So with the Mini Evo, this is the box that it comes with, which is standard practice for Sharp by Design. Closed cell foam inside there, really nice sturdy cardboard box. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to stick to the carbon fiber inlay version, just because I'm a huge fan of carbon fiber. So we're going to be using this one for my overview. Kind of like right out the gate, wanted to make a couple of comparisons. I don't have too many knives that compare directly to the Mini Evo, but just thought I'd pick a few that people out there may have, and kind of go from there. So the Mini Evo, as compared to a Benchmade bug out, looks like that. And then we have a Chris Reeve large Sabenza 31, like that. And then I grabbed my very trusty Spyderco Spidey Chef, looks like that. And then finally, just for good measure, because it was actually what I had in my pocket, but a Demco 8020, looks like that. So we're gonna get right into my overviews of the Mini Evo, and then I'll let you all go. All right, my first observation upon unboxing these Mini Evos was something that I've kind of come to expect or really appreciate about Brian Nadeau and his designs, but it's what I'm kind of calling the form of this. Like, all of his knives seem to be kind of the sum of their parts. And I think in this day and age, like, fit and finish is more of like a buzz phrase that we kind of throw around. But I'm always so impressed with the fit and finish of Sharp by Design knives. And this Mini Evo, it definitely has a form to it, and it's just absolutely beautiful. Like, there's really no way to put it other than that. The design is fully monolithic. It has matching hardware, and one of the things that we'll see a lot of, like, smaller attention to detail things, all of the working screws are on the clip side, which I think is really cool. So that leaves a very clean show side of this knife. And then on top of that, you get that little, like, color and texture pop with whatever insert you choose, which actually does serve to lighten this knife up quite a bit. Every single one of these models is going to be well under that 3-ounce mark, and that's without internal milling. And this still is a full titanium knife. Like, I think that's, I don't know, worth noting. And while we're on the topic of kind of these inserts, so realizing I have like a micarta and a carbon fiber one, there's other designs you can get. All of these inserts are perfectly flush with the frame, to the tune of, if you close your eyes and kind of rely on feel alone, you can't tell where the inserts start or stop. This is kind of the the definition of attention to detail and superior manufacturing that I've also come to expect from Riot, who is going to be the OEM of this knife. So moving right along, I wrestled with this one for a little bit, but hopefully I have an analogy that will kind of, will resonate with you all. What I find is most of the classic or traditional folders, you can really tell that they were designed on graph paper and then kind of just like bolted together. What comes to mind when I say that is more of like a Chris Reeve large Sabenza. Like, I mean, certainly the show side is a lot more beautiful. This one's a little bit more done up with the box elder and the Damascus, but you can definitely tell that this was like, you know, very pieced together. We have like the one side, the other side, we were made it together, put a blade in between, you know, everything else that goes along with it, and that was kind of the end of the story. Although I'm sure like a, you know, two-dimensional rendering started this design, I really do think that Brian's use of CAD makes this knife just really sleek and sophisticated at all angles. I love the fact that there's no unused screw holes. You know, it is going to be right hand tip up carry only, but I really can't hold it against this design. Like, I mean, it really does look like a complete knife where the blade matches the handle, matches the inlays, matches the pocket clip. It really is a winning combination. I don't know. I'm a little bit embarrassed to give this analogy, but kind of like, let me put it this way. So most knives are like a girl you're dating that makes you take a selfie over and over until you capture her good side. The Mini Evo does not have a bad side or angle, whether it's the show side, clip side, from above, below. Every angle is seemingly a hot girl summer with this knife. And that goes for all the Sharp by Design designs that I've seen. Like, they are the complete package. Some of their parts, they create a knife in its purest form. All right, so moving right along, realizing I can't gush over what this knife looks like all day, I wanted to talk about the flipper action. So the flipper tab on this, it's very comfortable, and when this is open, it doubles as a blade guard, which is very comfortable. This lock bar insert here is very pronounced and kind of visually it stares right back at you, and you'll kind of notice a click dissimilar to a ball detent you're used to when you actually actuate this knife, and that's because there is no ball detent. Like, I'd look at this pretty closely, but instead there's kind of a tab detent, I'm calling it, which kind of, it makes this thing have a very, very strong detent. But for me and my experience with collecting knives, reviewing knives, I definitely prefer it over a guillotine. But I'll try to shut up for a second and let you hear this. There's kind of like an initial click, and then the blade swings open, and then you'll hear it lock up. So let's see if we can recreate this. So there's like two audible clicks there. You can hear that first click breaking that tab detent if I don't let it open all the way. So that was kind of interesting to me, and you know, looking down in here, I'll try to capture a picture. You can see that kind of raised section, which serves as the detent, but it is a tab, not a ball. Kind of going along the lines of actuating this knife, this flipper tab is going to be the only option to deploy the Mini Evo. I don't know. I kind of like, I was sitting in bed after I got these, and I was like, man, wouldn't it be cool if there were like multiple ways to open this knife? Again, that Mini Tempest that I had, being a front flipper, whatever. I really do think that doing that kind of, what came to mind was like the EDC or the EMP EDC Nimble X, where there's just like way too much going on, and you can tell that as a knife designer, Brian Nadeau was very focused on what this knife would look like, not only how it would function. And so that being said, like, I totally understand that if you had a front flipper tab on here, this would be like, it would be way too busy. But I think kind of I don't know, it stuck out to me too, is like, you have this very pronounced fuller, obviously, but the way that the blade sits when it is closed, it's not usable at all. So the only way to actuate this knife is going to be that flipper tab. You know, flip this thing over, you have BN, so Brian Nadeau, his initials right there. That's the only, you know, kind of branding on this knife, if you will. But so you are limited in options to open this knife, but I think it works. It definitely makes it more of a gentleman's folder. ripping right through my last kind of two observations from, my experience with the Mini Evo, right out of the box, these knives both are just sharp AF, hair popping sharp. Riot did an awesome job with the grind. The quasi kind of Tanto looks especially menacing. I don't know if it's like a nightmare grind. I apologize. I don't have all the vernacular for what these are. Obviously, this being a drop point. But the other thing that I noticed with both of these knives is right out of the box, like it wasn't like a CKF where it's like, oh, you got to like tune it, you got to do all this stuff. Like the blade was like perfectly centered to a gnat's ass right out of the box. Like, I mean, these were just two random ones that were sent to me. Both of these knives were perfectly centered, and I think that definitely speaks to the fit and finish. The last observation that I had was the pocket clip, and I really think that other companies maybe could need to take lessons. It always kind of like baffles me reviewing knives. It's kind of wild how every single company has a different take on a seemingly simple piece of a folding knife. But that said, certainly Sharp by Design has it down. My only critique, and again, this is going to be definitely thicker titanium making up this clip. It is a little bit stiff. I'm not sure if it will kind of bend a little bit or loosen up, but although I only had these in my pocket briefly, you definitely kind of need two hands just to get it in your pocket, just based on how tight this clip is. But the other side of that is if it's too loose, I mean, it might flip out of your pocket. So really great job with the pocket clip. Same thing as my Mini Tempest. Yeah, I think as far as pocket clips go, Sharp by Design has it in spades. All right, and that concludes my overview of the Sharp by Design Mini Evo. All in all, I am very impressed. These knives are going to be going back to Brian and are going to be going out to some of his, authorized online distributors, etc. So I really didn't get to play with them too much in the sense that I didn't want to like mar them up, throw snails on them, etc. But just fit and finish, action, what they feel like in your pocket. I'm very impressed, and I can't say thanks enough to Brian for kind of trusting me. Again, I'm just some random dude on the internet, and he sent me $600 worth of knives with no preconceived notions. And I really did appreciate that I'm free to say what I genuinely think about these knives. Like if I thought that they were doo-doo, I could easily say that. There were no preconceived notions or anything about me having these knives, and I think that really speaks to the pride and kind of like what he puts into these knives, and like he knows they're gonna be good. At a $300 MSRP, which is what these things will run when they come out, probably at the end of next month. I think the price point is right on track for a designer with the pedigree of Brian Nadeau, and using Riot to manufacture his designs. I really do, and that concludes my overview of these knives, but I wanted to make two foot stomps. One, the personability of Brian Nadeau is amazing. Like again, random person, I'm a random person on Instagram, contacted him. Every time I've contacted him, whether it was about the Mini Tempest or about these, he's always the one that that replies back and is like completely like, yeah, you can tell he's a really good person. He's open to people. He likes people who like knives. Very, very personable. So, will I own another Sharp by Design? Absolutely. I think it's a great company, and that kind of personal touch that Brian Nadeau puts in actually personally answering you in an expedited fashion is really great. Like, I think it's awesome. In order to get one of these, my recommendation would be to follow Sharp by Design's Instagram page. I'll link it in the description below. That's how I found out about it, or you can kind of look at their authorized dealers, and these will be coming out over the next month or two. So kind of my last funny aside. So, I said that I follow Brian Nadeau on Instagram, and I know he has just been through hell with the United States Postal Service, them ripping off his knives, etc. And I just found it really ironic and kind of funny. When these knives got to me, this is the box that they came in, and they were shipped UPS, but as kind of a, I don't know, I took it as like a middle finger to USPS. He actually turned inside out a priority mail USPS small flat rate box, sent it UPS. I love it because these are the best for shipping knives, hands down. But I just thought that that was really funny to me, and I was like, man, still gotta stick it to the man. But with that, appreciate y'all tuning in. Please feel free to comment. Let me know what you think of this knife. And yeah, we will see you next time.